It's now looking ever more likely that Brentford are going to lose their captain Christian Nordgaard because more developments now on this potential move to Arsenal, and it's our understanding that a fee has been agreed between the two clubs this evening. That fee is £10 million plus add-ons. One source has told us those add-ons amount to £5 million. So that means that if they're all met, the total value of the deal is a possible 15 million. Still some further work to do, but everything pointing towards a conclusion in the next day or two. Christian Norgaard to Arsenal, looking a step closer now. A £10 million plus add-ons fee agreed between the clubs.
But let's start with the transfer, shall we? And that back page of the Sun, Scandi drama, slot ready to join Gyokeres fight as Toon plot record Isak wage deal, that it may just prove too difficult for Premier League champions Liverpool to lure Alexander Isak away from Newcastle this summer. So Victor Gyokeres might be in their sights. Isan already, Jeremy Frimpong is in, Florian Wirtz is in. It looks as though Milos Kerkez will be added to that list, and maybe Liverpool aren't finished at 3. Just on Gyokeres then as a player, Jack, do you think the great thing about Alexander Isak is he's proven it in the Premier League, hasn't it? And that some of the other strikers that are being banded around, particularly with Arsenal, who we'll get to in just a moment, but Gyokeres and Sesko, that is the big question mark, isn't it? Can they do it in the Premier League?
Absolutely. It's the biggest question mark we always have about strikers now. They're obviously the most expensive area, but expensive position for a club to go and invest in. They're the ones that either hit the ground running and pay off immediately. They're judged so quickly now. You look at someone like Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea, I think he scored 15 goals in his first season, which isn't a bad return, really, and fans already want more, they want something else, and that isn't seen as quite good enough. And I think Gyokeres is an interesting one. You go back to before the January window, after he was scoring freely in the Champions League group stage, and it felt like it was a nailed on that somebody would have that wrapped up before the end of the season. And there just seems to be, we're obviously not very far into the summer, but it feels like that was something that would have been done by now. You wonder whether there are question marks over his record, the level he's done it at. He's been in the Championship with Coventry and then in the Portuguese division, which, you know, a lot of players have been a success coming over from there, but it just doesn't compare to the Premier League in terms of the level that they're going to be facing, that Gyokeres will be facing in the Premier League. So I think clubs are maybe having some reservations over whether he's worth the fee. There seems to be a fair bit of haggling over whether they're going to get the bargain deal that it looked like earlier in the year. So I think there'll be a lot of consideration and a fair bit of waiting before we see Gyokeres move.
And I wonder whether, you sort of touched on it in your first answer, Sam, that this story might just jolt Arsenal into action, and whether so far this summer they've played quite a clever game in it not being really clear who the primary striking target is. But if it's Gyokeres, they might need to get a move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thus far, they've been playing Benjamin Sesko and obviously Gyokeres. They've not really signalled who their front runner is. Internally, that they'll be aware, but in terms of the two clubs, the way they've dealt with them is to at least pretend that they're equally interested in both. But with this Liverpool interest, as you say, it might now jolt them into action. From what I understand, Mikel Arteta has said he wants a striker before the pre-season tour, which I think Arsenal fly out July 19th to Asia for their pre-season tour of Singapore and Hong Kong. So in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be absolute crunch time. What is for sure is that Arsenal are definitely going to bring a striker in this window. So it's just a matter of when, not if. And there'll surely be now a few more twists and turns, especially if this interest from Liverpool does materialise and does suddenly start to spiral, because with the position Liverpool are in, no player is going to just turn their nose at such a side. Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you're being hypercritical, Jack, some people will say, well, why didn't you get the striker first? You're closing in on Christian Norgaard. Zubimendi has been in the pipeline for a long time. Why not sort out the striker? But you would like to think that a recruitment team like Arsenal's can do more than one thing at once. For the price tag and with an expectation that Thomas Partey is about to go, is Christian Norgaard a smart bit of business?
I think he's a perfectly smart signing, but you make the right point that football fans are very fickle in terms of optically, and it is something that, you know, a lot of clubs consider. If they can get a small deal over the line, an easy deal right at the start of the season, some sporting directors and owners and managers even will think, I can't have that being my first signing of the summer. Fans will absolutely kill me for it. It's almost an embarrassing thing. And I'm not saying Norgaard is that. He's a very well-established Premier League player. Arteta wants more quality in terms of the depth he has in his squad. He's felt it's been too thin, too light on quality coming off the bench this season, and Norgaard will address that even if Thomas Partey goes. But I think, this business with Arsenal of Berta wanting to spin many plates, keep people guessing, keep people on their toes, we'll only be able to judge that at the end of the summer. It could make him look a genius when they get everything they want. They hit all the right targets. They've got 5 or 6 new players and start the season in a really strong place. If any of them go slightly wrong, then you're going to look incredibly foolish when it's been absolutely evident what Arsenal have needed all along. Arsenal fans would have wanted a striker in the day after the season ended and they finished second again, because Arteta has done incredibly well. But now for him, for them, it's all about taking that final step and winning the Premier League title again. A manager will want a striker in as early as possible to work with him for as long as possible. Such a crucial position, such a crucial signing. So Norgaard is a good signing. He's a smart signing. You'd be a bit worried for Brentford. It's not the sexiest thing that will get Arsenal fans very excited at the moment.
Well, Christian Nordgaard will be disappointed, Jack, that you don't think he's particularly sexy, but I'll let you tell him that whenever he pitches up at the Emirates. Just from a flip side then, Ihsan and Brentford, we asked the question at the end of the season because it's back-to-back seasons where the 3 promoted clubs have gone straight back down, and you think, well, who might slip in to allow a Leeds or a Burnley or a Sunderland to stay up? Brentford have lost their head coach. They're about to lose their captain, and they're possibly about to lose Brian and Burmo as well. Should their fans be a little concerned?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not just small jigsaw pieces that have gone. The major parts of their side now. They've obviously got the set piece coach in charge as manager. If I was a Brentford fan, I'd be quite worried indeed. And Burmo is with his 20 goals last season. He was phenomenal. Thomas Frank did a great job at Brentford. That's not going to be easy to replicate or replace. And now Norgaard, I know he's only, I think, about 12-15 million pounds to Arsenal, but he's the captain. So he was also another important piece of that team. So it's 3 separate pieces of that puzzle to go at once. It's hard to replace, one, never mind all 3. So they do have a job on that. It can be done, and we've seen before teams lose their key players and rebuild. And Brentford have often in the past been very shrewd and smart with bringing in players, especially little-known players, who then go on to flourish in the Premier League. But yeah, they've got some task on. It's not going to be easy for sure.
One of those players who flourished in the Premier League is Brian Burmo. Could he be on his way to Manchester United? Could he be set to replace Alejandro Garnacho as he played his final game at Old Trafford? We're going to take a quick break and talk about his future after a start.
English clubs, I will start with Arsenal, because Arsenal, we have many things to discuss about them. I will start with Kepa, with one of the latest news you provided today.
Yeah, many movements for Arsenal, many, because we are still all waiting to understand what's going to happen with the strikers, with the contacts continue with Benjamin Sesko, with Victor Gyokeres, so we will be clear as soon as Arsenal will decide who is the striker they want. They want also an important winger, so it's going to be a busy summer for Arsenal. But for the goalkeeper, now the deal is done. For Kepa, all the documents are okay between Arsenal and Chelsea. £5 million is the transfer fee, because Arsenal will trigger the release clause included into the contract of Kepa 1 year ago. Probably some of our friends here on YouTube remember that when Kepa left Chelsea to go to Bournemouth on loan, they extended the contract basically on the same salary, but just to protect Chelsea on the financial value of the player. And now Arsenal pay £5 million. Kepa will be the backup option for David Raya. Everything is agreed, everything is okay. And so we just wait for the official announcement for